for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday already. Tuesday comes by so quickly. I hope that you all enjoyed St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Huge, great holiday with plenty of time for me to drink green beer on such a special holiday. St. Patrick's Day is a huge holiday here where I live. We had a lot of festivals here. And what we do for the festival, it's like a little downtown parade that they have with all of the clovers and everything like that. But I want to remember who St. Patrick was. He was born in Britain around 385 AD. At 16, he was kidnapped by Irish pirates and enslaved in Ireland. After several years, he escaped back to Britain, but later returned to Ireland as a Christian missionary. He's credited with converting much of the Irish population to Christianity. The famous legends of St. Patrick is the Shamrock. Remember the Shamrock Shake from McDonald's? Ooh, super healthy, just like the McRib, right? But the Shamrock is St. Patrick is said to have used the three-leaf clover to explain like the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit to the Irish. And he's also famous legend of driving out snakes. One popular symbolic legend says that St. Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland, and scholars believe that the snakes represented the pagan beliefs. But it became a holiday after he died on March 17th, 461 AD, and the day became a religious feast day in 1631, honoring him as Ireland's patron saint. He was originally it's usually just really a religious occasion by the Catholic Church, but now we have changed that into parades, drinking, music, and for those with Irish pride, because officially St. Patrick's Day became a holiday in 1762 in New York City. So I hope you had fun. Wanted to give a little history lesson as it relates to that. St. Patrick's Day also reminds me of March Madness for basketball and all of that. I mean, it's a cherished holiday for me. This month is also my birthday. So that's coming up on the 29th this month, the 29th. Wow. So I usually try to celebrate part of my birthday on St. Patrick's Day because everybody's in a party mood. You know what I mean? And so I'll go downtown and do all that. So I want to give some exciting updates here at Creditor Academy. We're moving really fast because the website is pretty much done. We're just implementing the back end of the Creditor Academy website with our huge deal with Cypher Learning. So now we are putting the LMS and the courses together. We're looking about maybe a week and a half until it's full-fledged accessible for the general public. You see, when we start, now that we're in this phase of implementation for the LMS, now we can start focusing really on our hiring. As you know, Creditor Academy, we have just about now 25 full-time employees and staff, and now we're growing to 40. We are hiring to reach 40 now. So that's going to take maybe a month or two before we finally get there. But I am excited for it. I'm absolutely excited. So we have invested in new real estate in India. That's where I have one of my big corporate offices out there. So we have the J1 Center that we utilize out there. J1 is kind of like General Electric actually owned that building. And now it's growing even more. This is a photo of the office space that we have acquired. big commercial building. Just wanted to share it for a moment. And this is it. This is it. So we got offices in Noida. Noida is a city outside of Delhi, India. And we have an office at the J1 building in India at one of their business centers that's owned by General Electric. Offices are a key thing for me. You know, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, and I don't want to get into the politics too much, but Donald Trump said a really big thing not that long ago. And he said that, hey, all of these federal workers need to come back to the office. They need to come back to work. And a lot of people were against that. And they said, why would they need to come back to work, Paul Mike or Mr. Trump? You know, why can't they work from home? And he was like, they're not working. They got another job somewhere else, or they're outside playing golf, or they're taking care of their kids in the background. They're not working if they're not in the office. He says, I'm old school. You need to do that. So I am under the same impression. Listen, international staff is the way to go. It's cost effective. You get the best of the best with bachelor's and master's degrees, which all of my staff do. They work full time, and we have a very, very motivated team. But one of the difficulties about hiring international staff is that a lot of them work for home or prefer to work for American businesses at home. And I'm here to tell you, after 5 years, maybe 4.5 years of experience dealing with international workers, let me tell you, it's the same what Donald Trump said about the federal workers. They go ahead and BS me and say, Paul Michael, I'm going to go ahead and do this work. Yeah, this is great. I'm glad I could be here for the morning meeting. Then they go out, play golf for the day, or go have another job with an American company where he's telling them I'm doing work and whatnot. And then at the end of the day, they'll work for like 1 hour's worth of effort and then give me this progress report like they did something and think that I'm not smart enough to catch on to it. This is why I forced every one of my staff, you're going to be in the office. I want to have an office manager stand on your head to make sure you do the work that we're doing, because here at Creditor Academy, we're really trying to make a name for ourselves, and you guys deserve the best of the best. And in order to make sure that you guys get the best of the best, my workers need to be on their game. And now the great thing about this is not only have we contracted now with 2 major office building locations, but now to fill up the seats, we are now doing business deals with you, with the general audience. If you want international employees, but you want them to be in an office, in an environment where they can be overseen and managed, Creditor Academy, we've been doing recruiting and staffing for quite some time. Now we're offering office space for your employees and workers. And the beautiful thing is with the office space, like you're going to see on our website, is you're going to see the offices that we have featured on the Creditor Academy website. These are the same offices that could be featured on your website for your promotions of your staff and your employees. All of my employees have ID badges. They have custom-made polos with our logo on it. And it's a professional environment. There's security guards that manage all of the office campus. We have biometric clock-in. So they have to actually give their biometrics to show that they showed up on time. We provide all staff with computers as well inside the working space. And our office managers will give you a report of how your employee is doing. All of this is a very cost-effective price. If you'd like to get the details about that, you can go to creditoracademy.com and call our hotline number that's on the website, or email us and fill out the contact us form on our website as well. Very exciting developments, and we're expanding. We're expanding really quickly. So yeah, so we got the website, we got the staff, we got the office, two office locations now. What else? Well, what else is Masterclass? Wow, freshman Masterclass has been skyrocketing with not only the amount of involvement, but the amount of connections with one another as part of a community. I've told the freshman Masterclass members that if you get in now before this LMS system is up and running and humming and you're believing in what it is that we are delivering, we got special offers for you that we will extend when the platform is up. The platform for our LMS, for the website on the back end, it's about a week and a half to 2 weeks away. It is right around the corner. If you'd like to take advantage of the special offers and discounts and exclusive groups and offerings that we'll be bringing to the to our website on the back end of our LMS, and you would like to sign up for a masterclass and see what our schooling is all about, you can go to creditoracademy.com, call our hotline number, and find out there. Also, if you have not hit that notification or the subscribe button, this is the time to do it. So yes, all exciting things that are coming down the turnpike, and it's still going. Today is an important subject, though, because as we are about to launch the Academy in a really big way and automate it and bring so much AI into the platform, a whole new fresh faces into the platform. We're expanding business partnerships with other guru organizations to bring them into the platform as well. It is also the time to remember where we came from our roots, how we got started and how we got here today. And the way that we got to do that is we got to honor Patrick Devine in his original teachings on how we got into this situation and how it is affecting us today. So we're going to revisit for maybe one last time publicly until if you're in Masterclass, I'm going to go over even deeper presentations of Patrick Devine's final teachings. But publicly, the few times that I bring it up, like I am going to bring up today, is it's going to tell you the story. Patrick Devine was a storyteller. If you listen to his many audios, he was huge into painting the picture clearly for anybody to understand. Smart guy. So what I'm going to do is we're going to be talking about the Cestui Que Vie trust account and the big picture of what we're trying to do here at the Academy. I want you to fully understand what makes the Academy so different than the other organizations. And I'm not here to give you paperwork. I remember the loads amount of paperwork other organizations would give me. I remember I would pay their membership dues. You remember this? Some of you, same thing. You pay the membership dues to get on their platform. And what do you get with their membership? You get everything. You get everything. You get to see their videos and you get to see their documents. You watch the videos, you get the documents, and you're like, great, now what? Now what? Can I ask a question? What's next? How do I utilize this for myself? Where can I get more information? Who can help me with my current situation? You see, schooling is just more than going into a classroom and paying your tuition to the University of Washington, and they hand you a textbook and a bunch of tests and some homework assignments and say, I hope that you can graduate. No, there's structure to the learning. So what we do differently at the Academy is we structure your learning with software and with instructional designers and with instructors themselves. So then you have everything that you need to succeed. It's kind of like a little mirror of what you did in regular school onto our online campus. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic of discussion of how we got here. Share my screen. Let's start here. A brief background. Okay. All right. So Brief background. How do we get here? Well, it all starts with the straw man, your legal fiction. Patrick Devine said that we got into this mess by not just a great takeover from this banking cartel, but also we contracted into this legal a world of monopoly. And that's basically what it is. Everything is a legal fiction, just as much as the worth of monopoly money is the worth of these Federal Reserve notes. And we contracted to play the monopoly game. And we're using contracts. We're using statutory laws. We are abiding by the banking cartel's rules and regulations, all not based upon us, the living, but based upon our fiction. Based upon our fiction. So your birth certificates, we got to talk about that, on how we got into this situation in the first place, and how Patrick Devine really identified how we can get out as well. Well, what is your birth certificate? Well, it is your legal fiction. It's the paper form of you. Your birth certificate is the all caps name entity. It's kind of like when I receive notices for bills. I got a lot of them, but all my name on here is in all caps. It's on all caps for all my bills. They're addressing the all caps name, the Strawman entity, because your Strawman is a business corporation created by the state you were born in with your same name, but in all caps, so that you can enter their game or system and play with them. Since everything in the corporate world is dead, only other dead things can communicate with each other. This is the dead version of you, your birth certificate. Therefore, they created a dead paper version of you and had your parents sign over or register you to the state so that they can use our credits, thus beginning our financial servitude or slavery. So true, so true. All unbeknownst to us. This is familiar, kind of like the book of Revelations, chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. We cannot buy or sell goods currently without operating in their system. So how do they do it? Okay, Paul Michael, got the birth certificate. I understand Patrick Devine talked about that, but what specifically, how did this all come to be? Well, it's really accounts. It's all sources to the master account. The master account is called Cestui Que Vie trust account. It's a trust set up for you at the time of the straw man's creation to hold all of your credits. You do not own this trust account, but you are the rightful beneficiary. Therefore, the trustees are supposed to act on our behalf in your best interest. This way, this is why all of our bills and taxes are supposed to be handled for us, as we have the full faith and credit to pay for everything. You, the living man or woman, are the beneficiary of this Cestui Que Vie trust account. So when we go to court, judges who act as the magistrates are the trustees of this account, and the clerk is the administrator of this trust account as well. But we got to break down this term and this meaning. Then I'm going to get into a visual description of this structure. Cestui Que. It's a phrase that is derived from the medieval England and adopted by French law. Cestui Que trust can be translated as he for who the benefit of the trust was created. This term is an antiquated word used to describe a beneficiary of a trust. And what is a beneficiary? Well, it is a person for whose benefit trust property is held by another, the trustee. A beneficiary may be a natural person, a company, or other legal entity. The beneficiary under a trust has an equitable interest in the trust property, and the trustee is subject to the administration of the trust in their business interests. Let's go ahead and now give an example of what we're talking about. Let's give a visual reference. So you were born, and their parents signed over registration over to you to create this trust account. The trust of all trusts have three positions: the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary, which I will show you. Okay. This is how it looks. The grantor is the creator, the one who establishes and brings into existence the trust. The trust is created with either a trust indenture or a declaration of trust document. The grantor or guarantor selects trustees who act on behalf of the beneficiaries, and the beneficiaries are holding trust certificates that are issued by the exchanger, who is the one who accepts the property into the trust. Okay? So the trust certificates by the beneficiary are to show that they have beneficial ownership of such thing. What is the birth certificate? Birth certificate, right? Okay, see? So what we have to identify is who is the guarantor or the creator of this trust. Remember, legal fictions can't create anything. Only people can. So the only person that was available to create the Cestui Que Vie trust is the grantor, known as Mama. It's always Mama. Mama, why'd you do it? So Mama comes in. She's the grantor of the trust, and she signs over registration with a witness. Who is the witness? It is the father. The father is the witness. You ever wonder why fathers can't win divorce cases or get ownership or control of their children, and why the whole system seems to be against men? Ever wondered that? You just said, oh, it's just corrupt. Oh, it's these laws. Oh, it's these Democrats. It's these Republicans and all that. No, it's not. Let me tell you, an irrevocable trust is one of the most difficult, next to impossible things to penetrate. It is so hard to overcome. So if your father is a witness to this Cestui Que Vie trust and not the actual grantor who is actually involved with the trust, he's now an outside invader. And it takes an act of Congress to penetrate an irrevocable trust. So it's a losing battle for fathers. They're coming in trying to lay claim to the trust itself when they were just a witness. They're not any of the three positions. So that's why they're pushed out. That's why they're pushed out. If you want the father to have a say inside of this trust structure, then you need to make the father either a grantor or a trustee. Grantor or trustee. Now, let's continue on. So who's the trustee of the Cestui Que Vie trust? Well, it's Uncle Sam. It's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's got all the power and control, right? They are the ones that oversee the trust account and have a fiduciary duty to act on the best interest of the beneficiary, which is you. And how do they act on your best interest? Well, they get what's called contractors. Remember Patrick Devine talking about contractors? What are these contractors? The contractors are the government agencies that work for the federal government. The Department of Licensing, Child Protective Services. It could even be some of the Social Security funding, or for your retirement. It's all of the social government services that are contracted out to give the beneficial services to the beneficiary. And you know how effective those are, because they're never working in your favor. They don't work in your favor. So now the trustee, anytime he wants to help out the beneficiary, or even for the grantor, they contract out the government agency so they can get paid their administration fee from your unlimited credits. That's how this works. They don't call you up. You ever notice the federal government, unless you have a federal government contract, they don't call you up to do a business deal. They only call up the agencies where they financially benefit. Okay. Now you are the beneficiary and you got the beneficial certificate to show that you are holding trust with this agreement. So we went through that. We now have, I hope, a clearer picture of how the trust structure is. So let's continue on with breaking this down. So let's start. Now let's go to your public banker. Let's put this all together. How we have been operating. Everything, as Patrick said, is banking. Since the moment we started working, using money and creating accounts, we have unknowingly been bankers. We have been operating as public bankers without realizing it. We thought banks are the ones lending us money and have all of the power, but they are merely thrifts of transfer agency, mediums of exchange for the money we issue or create. Our securities or paper money, promissory notes, which the banks only exchange for monopoly money known as the Federal Reserve notes to keep the game going. Banks have no power to create anything, as they are dead, and only procedures of how to properly operate within the private Federal Reserve banking system. Everything in the business world operates under this system as corporations, dead entities, and are all bankrupt. They do not have money, as it is only we, the living, that create the money with our signatures. The banks and all government employees are public servants and work for us. We, the people, are the true government, the power holders, and we have the divine spark of the Creator and are alive with this divine power to create. Ooh, I get chills every time I read that. So your signature, how your signature works. Your signature is the authorization to extend the credits out to these other public organizations, which could be the bank. It could be a loan from the bank. It could be your student loans. It could be lines of credit for credit cards. It could be a loan for a vehicle. Whatever it is, whatever it might be, they're utilizing your signature to draw the credits. But how do they do that? How do they do that? You need to think about a bank account. Visualize this. When you open up a bank account at Wells Fargo or Chase or Bank of America, you need two things in order to get people access to that account. The first is an account number. Okay. The account number is the number that was created for the birth certificate. That's like the checking account. Okay. It's unlimited credit. You can draw whatever you want from it. So if you could draw anything out of that bank account that's housing the unlimited credit, the only thing that you need to now route the credits out is a routing number, an account and routing number, which is this social security number. You see, a social security number is the same routing number as an EIN. It's the same. EINs are just routing numbers because it's all reference to the IRS, right? So when you have the account and the routing number, then for a check, all you need to do now is just write out the amount that you want to pay with your signature. And that's what you're doing. You're giving the account and routing number that's associated with your Social Security, and you're doing these signatures to write it out to these entities so they can draw from your credits. Now, what do you have control over that Social Security number and account? No, it was assigned to you. It was assigned to you, but you don't have control over it. Why don't you have control of it? Because you're not a trustee, man. You're not a trustee. Uncle Sam is. Remember the Cestui Que Vie trust? You're not the trustee, so you don't have any say. So when you go ahead and sign over and all these credits then go into the Social Security account, now all of these credits go into an account that the government can write performance and payment bonds out of, which are together like fidelity surety bonds, as Patrick Devine so greatly talked about, right? So now there's corruption on both sides. The government gets a piece every time that you go ahead and put your signature, and the public entities get to draw as much credit from your signature. Plus, even after that they get paid, what do they do with you? They say, you still owe me money. You still owe me they're getting paid 3 times. Shoot, you could even argue it's 10 times, because the amount of these performance and payment bonds that Patrick Devine is talking about, he was saying that it's 9 times the value of what the original contract was. Wow. So they get paid 9 times the original contract, and they're still coming to ask you for money. Isn't that amazing? So, what do you do? What do you do? That was Patrick's question. What do you do? Oh, skip this for a second. What you need to do is you need to change this trust structure. You have to change the trust structure. How you change the trust structure is you need to replace that Cestui Que Vie trust account with a trust that you control. And Patrick Devine so famously called it establishing a UCC contract trust. It is the replacement for the Cestui Que, where it puts you in absolute dominion and control. But we have to break this down on how that works. We have to understand the trust structure of your private trust. First thing is we got to get rid of mama. You're not supposed to live at home. You're not supposed to ask your parents for money. You're an adult. You're independent, unless you're still young enough to where you need guardianship. But you don't need your mother to take care of your accounts anymore. You are now responsible enough to be in charge of your own trust. So the replacement for mama is going to be you, the living. The second position that needs to be taken over is trusteeship. Who in your life is responsible enough to take care of all your financial affairs and to be the administrator over all of your finances, your accounts, and your business dealings? As Patrick Devine so famously said, you can't trust nobody but yourself. Ain't nobody to trust but yourself, which is, once again, you are the trustee of your new UCC contract trust account. Now, here's where the mix comes in, okay, of a trust, is you cannot hold all 3 positions of a trust. If you hold all 3 positions, that's what's called breaking the corporate veil. If you break the corporate veil, you now broke your fiduciary duty. You've imperfected the trust. You could be brought to court. You could be fined. You could be jailed. You could be all those things because you're trying to game the system. But there are 2 types of individuals that can take up each one of these 3 positions. It can either be an individual or an entity. An individual or an entity. So who then is the beneficiary of this UCC contract trust account? What is it? What entity are you trying to get control over? Well, it's your birth certificate. Your birth certificate, like we just read, is the paper version of you. It's the all caps name. It's a dead entity. You're becoming in control of that entity. So now, rightfully, if you need to put an entity in as the beneficiary and it can't be you, the living, and you have no kids, then what other entity can you put? The one that you are now getting control of. That becomes the beneficiary. Now, Now there it is. Now we have the new UCC contract trust. It's now into place. Now we need to understand how these credit works, okay? How do our credits work? The people are the true creditors, the ones who create the credits. However, you gave them over to a fictitious person under ignorance and fraudulent assignment. You are the original assignor, and the rightful beneficial holder, yet assign the credits over to the fictional person, the assignee. Okay, you, the living, are the assignor. The fictitious person is the assignee. When that happens, the new assignee, the fictitious person, now becomes the assignor and assigns them over to whomever we give our blank checks to, who then become the new assignee when they endorse the back of a security, also known as a blank check. So does that make sense? I want to let's really think about this. You're the living, the assignor. Your fictitious person is the assignee. You told the fictitious person, I give you absolute dominion and control. You can do whatever you want. So the fictitious person says the most powerful position that I can utilize or abuse is to say, I am living. I am not a fiction. I am a living thing. So this is why the assignee takes the assignor position and assigns them over to whoever we give our blank checks to, who become the new assignee. Okay, so now he's switching. So now the fictitious person's now the assignor. They're acting on behalf of you, the living. And now their assignee position, which is the fictitious entity, is now assigned to the bank, the student loans, to the car loans, to the bankruptcy, to whatever, fill in the blank, anything that you want. So there you go. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So you are the beneficial holder. You're able to enjoy the benefits and ownerships, but you've got to remember that the title of the property is in the all caps name. Once again, the title of the property is in the all caps name, and that the state created, AKA your strawman, your public banker, has control over it. So with that in mind, the beneficial holder, we go into the next session. The people are bond holders. Okay. The SSN is a bond between the strawman, birth certificate, and Cestui Que trust and the estate. Once you open an estate, you are declaring the strawman SSN is dead, which is why Patrick Devine wasn't using the SSN after creating his estate EIN. I'm touching on this a little bit. Okay, I want to say my opinion inside, my 2 cents here. I have an estate EIN that is over my SSN. Is it absolutely necessary for you to have a state EIN? Yes and no. Depends on the use cases. Okay, but if you have control of your SSN account, which is what establishing a UCC contract trust is all about, then you don't have to worry because you have control of it. You don't need an estate EIN if you have control of the SSN, but if you want an extra layer of protection, it also doesn't hurt. I'm neither for it nor am I against it. Okay, I just want to say my 2 cents there. Okay. But yes, the SSN is the account that holds all your credits. Since we are constantly paying more and more money into that account with everything we do as a public banker, we want to stop it by terminating it or get control over it. Then we can resurrect our SSN as the executor of the estate. So the executor is no longer the holder of all of our credits. Okay. So that was good. I want to go over Ballantyne's Law Dictionary of holder, a person that holds as the owner, the holder of a patent, often used in combination of a stockholder, the one that holds or occupies the property of another by agreement. Okay, let's pause there for a second. Let's pause there. Okay. And let's go over now what I want to go further into this. I'm wanting to give you guys high level of Patrick Devine. Okay. And we have to cover this. Okay. So you have this new UCC contract trust account, which goes also by a different name. Can anybody tell me what the other name for establishing a UCC contract trust is? What's the new popular name that Patrick Devine, he called it establishing a UCC contract trust in 2017, but it has become a new name that everybody and their mama is talking about constantly. All I hear about is what name? Someone shout it out. Shout it out. Shout it. What is it? Huh? What are you going to say? You're typing it. I need you to say it. Oh, I have like
third party creditor.
There you go. There we go.
SPC.
SPC. SPC. Everything got to do the SPC, the secured party creditor. Jeez, isn't that just everybody's like, I got to do my SPC if I want to be free. So we're going to go over the SPC. Okay. All right, we're going over the Cestui Que Vie trust. We're replacing it with establishing a UCC contract trust, also known as an SPC. And we're going to, you guys need to wrap your heads around this, man, because if you get the high level picture, you'll really get the whole meat of this. But we got to look at this SS4 form. Now, Patrick Devine, what do you do? Foreign grantor trust. He is famous for the FGT. I don't know if you know this. Patrick Devine was the founder of the FGT. He's the one that figured out its significance, its use case, and we've used it ever since. He's done so many groundbreaking research. Okay. So the FGT and your new trust, your new UCC contract trust. Okay. A trust in this case needs an EIN number. It's got to have an EIN number because it's got its own routing number now, right? It needs a routing number, a foreign routing number. The reason why it's foreign is because it's outside the jurisdiction of the banking cartel. The banking cartel is the Hague Convention countries that contracted with the banking cartel. Just simply say it like this. You notice when you get debt in America or a credit card debt, it follows you to Europe. And you're like, how come I'm in Canada and Europe and in Ireland and it's following me? Well, it's because you're in these Hague Convention countries that did business deal on this one network banking cartel system known as the mafia that's underneath the Vatican. Okay. So no matter where you go, debt follows you, except for Taiwan or Belize or a bunch of other countries. There's like 100 of them. And there's no debt there. That's why people restart their lives. The Cayman Islands, the Isle of St. Kitts, and so on. So people go to those countries because they're like, oh, my debt doesn't follow me here. It's like I'm starting brand new. And it looks like this country's starting brand new too. Where's the infrastructure, right? So now Patrick got a non-Hague Convention EIN number and applied it from there. Now, every trust, just like a business trust, every trust needs a name. You got to have a name for a trust. Okay. You got to have a name. But before we get into the name of this trust, I want to talk to you guys about what this foreign EIN that Patrick Devine was talking about. Okay. It was a foreign grantor trust. Foreign grantor trust. What's the foreign grantor trust? What is that, Paul Michael? What is that? Well, if you've ever done taxes on a 1041 form, they on the left-hand side, or 1041 is for U.S. income tax return for estate and trust. You'll see three choices here: a simple trust, a complex trust, and a grantor type trust. Okay, each of the following. I kind of want to give you guys a summary of each one. Okay. The first one is that I want to kind of break down is the simple trust, and then I'll end with the grantor type trust. The simple trust is a trust that distributes all the income to the beneficiaries annually. It does not distribute to the principal, meaning the grantor, and it cannot make charitable contributions. The trust itself does not pay income tax. Beneficiaries are taxed on the income that they receive on a simple trust, and the principal remains intact but untouched. Okay. And it requires this 1041 form because the income is passed to the beneficiaries via the Schedule K1. What I like to summarize the simple trust is like, it's almost like an LLC. So you got the fluidity of being an individual, but also the pass-through like a corporation. Okay. So it's like the LLC of the trust structures that you can choose. The next one is a complex trust. If you're in my business trust course in the operate private pillar, we go over this quite often. But a complex trust is a trust that retains income, but it doesn't have to distribute it yearly. It can distribute principal, and it can make charitable contributions, but it has the most amount of flexibility in terms of distributing income throughout. And its trust itself may owe income tax on undistributed income. So meaning that this trust is like a C corporation, okay? It doesn't give everything to the beneficiaries, or what I would call stockholders, right? But it allows itself to have expenses, income, operate more like a business, okay? And you can get lines of credit and when you do your taxes, a complex trust structure is most in alignment with how you would file your taxes for that one, okay? So that's more like a C Corp. So simple trust is like an LLC. A complex trust is like a C Corp. Now let's go to the last one, which is a grantor trust. A grantor trust is a trust where the grantor retains certain powers or ownership benefits, causing the income and assets to be treated as belonging to the grantor for tax purposes. So the grantor is typically also the trustee and or the beneficiary. Geez, okay, so you see the correlation? The grantor is typically the trustee or the beneficiary. The grantor is typically the trustee or the beneficiary of the SPC or the UCC contract trust. Okay. All the income, deductions, and credits flow through the grantor's personal tax return. Everything's personal. Nothing's to the beneficiaries. Nothing's being taxed or held within the trust itself. And there's no separate trust tax return, and it's usually required. Okay. It could be a revocable living trust or an irrevocable trust. It's great for estate planning while maintaining control and flexibility, and it avoids probate but doesn't offer tax benefits or asset protection like an irrevocable trust. So you need it to be irrevocable. Okay. So the grantor type trust is almost like a sole proprietorship, EIN. It's like a sole prop. I remember my dad was doing taxes, and Jose would come in. And you're like, hello. My dad would be like, hello, Jose. How are you doing? And you're like, hello, Mr. Roland. Yes, I need to file my taxes. And he'd be like, oh, okay. Well, what did you do this year? He's like, I mowed the lawns. I help out my neighborhood. I do the landscaping and all that. So my dad would ask Jose the question, hey, what type of business entity do you have? And he's just like, what? Okay. Okay. And he's just like, oh, do you have an LLC or what do you got? And he's like, nothing, man. I just walked in the door and I'm here to do my taxes. And he's like, oh, okay. So you're unincorporated. He's like, yeah, sure, man. So my dad did an unincorporated sole proprietorship for Jose. So, and then he took his receipts, he asked him questions, and then filed his taxes from there. Okay. And that is kind of a similar thing like we're doing with the simple trust is you have your personal taxes here. So now let's go back to Patrick Devine. He called it a foreign grantor trust. So now we can get into the name. So what he did is he went here and he titled it Patrick Devine FGT, the famous FGT, right? Because this, oh, excuse me. There we go. Patrick Devine FGT. Okay. So now and the reason why he did that is because an EIN number application does not specify what the use case of this EIN number is. It does not, unless you're filling out the 1041 form, you wouldn't know that this is a grantor type trust. And you wouldn't even know if this EIN is for in a trust unless you specify it. So that's why he put FGT into it. Now here comes the big question. Okay. You're now establishing a new UCC contract trust to replace the Cestui Que Vie. You just got a foreign EIN, a foreign grantor trust number. So now the question is, what is the title or the name of this new trust that is replacing the Cestui Que Vie? Anybody tell me what is the name of the new trust? Yell it out. What is it? Someone tell me. Just yell it. I have so many of you in here. Your name.
Strawman.
It's your okay. Strawman name. Okay, who else can tell me? What else? Because a lot of people put their name because it's a grantor trust, so it is the individual, and then you put your name. But to be accurate and precise, it is the name that you put on the SS4 application. Okay, so what if Patrick Devine put Patrick Devine FGT, that has to be the name of the trust, your UCC contract trust. It has to be exact. If he put Hello Kitty, guess what the name of the trust needs to be? Patrick Devine FGT Hello Kitty. It's got to be exactly the same. There can't be any difference between the two. So this is why it's so important to have continuity throughout it. Okay, so let's bring this all together. We have the trust. It's replacing the Cestui Que Vie, okay? And it's now in control. The declaration of trust document is what puts the trust into effect after you put the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary inside of there. Then you attach the foreign EIN to the trust. So now it has a routing number. And then you have the name of the trust that matches the foreign EIN. Okay. And you get that notarized. So now you have a trust thing. The declaration of trust document does one thing really, really well. It tells you how much power and control trustees have. I love my trust template document that I've been using for just about 7 years now, that's specific to Creditor Academy. I've seen a lot of trust documents, and so many of them are so vague. They're so vague. And I want you to keep this in mind. A common law trust, a constitutional trust, a business trust, a Massachusetts type trust, even a foreign grantor trust, whatever you want to call it, it all means the same thing. They're all the same type of trust. They're just different names. So if someone says, I got a foreign grantor, irrevocable business trust from Massachusetts, You can just say, wow, you just did a lot to say the same thing. It's nothing special. But what I like about mine is I put in so much detail about how much power the trustees have. And the reason why I went to that extent to really compound it, that the trustees have so much power, is because you need that much control, and there needs to be no ambiguity on how much control you have over this master account. Okay. Now we get into the next section. Are we on time? Okay. So we get into the next section now, which is, hey, Paul Michael, this is great. You told me all about a trust. I absolutely love it. But I thought this was all about a secured party. I thought this was all about a secured party, man. What are you talking about? Great. I got the trust, but where does the UCC1 come into play here? Where does the UCC1 come in? All right. I want to put you guys into the right frame of mind. Okay. We got to go over what the purpose of the UCC financing statement is. Okay. It's a critical document for registering the trust secured interests in various types of property. This filing under the Uniform Commercial Code creates a public record that establishes the trust claim over its collateral and ensures that its interests are protected from competing claims. So I'm going to break down the document and its functions and tell you why it's important by first outlining the purpose of the UCC filing. The UCC financing statement, what we're looking at right now, is filed by the trustee / secured party on behalf of the all caps named trust. Its primary purpose is to publicly record the trust lien on property, which can include real estate, personal property, and intellectual property. This registration creates a legal priority for the trust, ensuring that its interest in the property is recognized and protected against other claims. The collateral being liened includes significant items such as the certificate of birth document. That's what we're liening. The SSN and UCC contract trust account and other related accounts we are also liening. The total value of the lien is listed as $100 million bond, indicating the scale of the trust's interest. This comprehensive list ensures that all key assets are covered under the trust's secured interest. This is important. Some important clarification is the lien is placed on the debtor entities that owe property to the trust, not on the trust entity itself. Additionally, it asserts that the trustee or secured party is a living person, not a fictional entity, and demands recognition from agents and corporations. This distinction is crucial in legal terms because it reinforces the trustee's authority and the trust's autonomy. So the UCC financing statement will references that when we have to this document, some legal provisions and some doctrines to support really a lot of its claims. So all property held or outstanding belongs to the trust. By filing this document, this UCC document, the trust will establish its legal claim over the property, creating a strong position in the case of future disputes, because only disputes are dealt through liens. Who is the first priority over this collateral? And it also ensures that any attempt to challenge the trust ownership must be addressed through a formal legal channel. Okay? So, breaking down this document here, I wasn't sharing screen, my bad. Okay. So here's the UCC financing statement, and here's where the collateral goes. Remember, Patrick Devine went over this extensively as a non-UCC, but when you're establishing a UCC contract trust, you're doing a public version. We'll get into that in a later time. So here's the question I have for you. Under the debtors name? What is the name of the organization for the debtor? Can anybody tell me? Who is it?
Your all caps name?
No. Who can tell me?
The banker.
What the? So more specific.
Individual banker.
No.
Your all capital.
No.
Oh, it says organization a foreign grantor trust.
Yeah. Okay. You're getting, yes. Okay. You're getting, yes, you're getting there. You're getting there. It's the trust. It's the UCC contract trust. It's that simple. Don't you want to have a lien, and don't you want to have priority control over the new entity that's taking over everything? That is the Patrick Devine FGT. That's the trust. That's the UCC contract trust. That is what you're taking control of. It's the UCC contract trust. That's what you're taking over. And that is Patrick Devine FGT. That's what you want to take over, right? Because it has absolute control. And then who is now the secured party? Who can tell me who the secured party is?
The living person,
Now that
me.
A private banker.
No,
Private
it is the living person. Yeah, whoever said that, you are correct. It's the living person. You guys need to get the individual banker out of your head. You need to put that inside of a drawer and not pull that out. The same with the estate EIN. The only EIN you need to worry yourself with in establishing this UCC contract trust or the SPC process is the foreign grantor trust, and that's it. And that's it. So it's you, the living, that is the secured party. You. And the collateral that's listed is very lengthy. It's almost everything you own and control. I should say you control, because ownership means liability. And as a trustee, you don't have any liability. So everything is yours and you control it without ownership. Okay. So so hopefully now you're starting to kind of see the picture that I'm painting here, which is you have a trust, your UCC contract trust. Grantor and trustee is you, the living. Beneficiary is your legal fiction, your birth certificate. Okay. You just did a UCC where now you're the secured party. You have a priority lien over this trust account that you just created that is now owning everything. And now all you need, in addition to this, not all you need, let me tell you, when you come into the Become Private pillar here at Creditor Academy, I mean, this is a lengthy document. I mean, we're almost at 100 and some odd pages just for the SPC packet. Okay. And there's like 15 to 20 different documents in there, if not more. There may be much more. But anyways, so when you're, the other thing is now what to go along with the trustee provisions are listed inside of the declaration of trust document, as I was stating earlier. But what is the secured parties provisions? What rights and controls does the secured party have? And how is that specified? Okay, the trustee just reads his declaration of trust document. That makes sense. But if you're a secured party, what are your rules? What are your regulations? What are your powers? It's outlined in the secured party security agreement. Secured party security agreement. It is everything to not only, or to say what type of control that you have. So I want you to follow on this. That UCC1 financing statement has a section to put into all the collateral that you control. The declaration of trust has a section where you can put in everything that you can control as a trustee. Now you have a security agreement that further exemplifies the secured party's control over the trust and the security instruments, and also to dealing with debts. Dealing with debts. Got to deal with debts. So all of that together is just the foundation of what we put together in your SPC pack. That's just scratching the surface. But you need to know Patrick Devine's structure. You see, since 2017, there have been a lot of updates since Patrick Devine was here. God rest his soul. So what we do here at Creditor Academy is we keep the integrity of what he taught, and we just modernized it. We modernized it. And what I've done is I've taken the SPC, I've taken the status correction and the ID and the badge, and put a gold thread throughout the whole academy so you have continuity with each of the pillars. Okay. You have freshman masterclass. And then you have your sophomore masterclass year, your junior masterclass year, and your senior masterclass year. What you need to do as you go through the pillars, freshman masterclass, which you can sign up for right now by going to our website and giving us a call on our hotline number or filling out the contact us form, is your foundation. Things that I talk about today, I go into more detail about in Masterclass Freshman, and I talk about the other pillars as well. And the purpose for that is there's a lot of you that are new, that are searching this subject. You're trying to get clarity and whatnot. And you know, a lot of the guru organizations are asking you to give a huge financial and time commitment to their organization, and they're not organized. They're not organized. And you only find out about what their program is all about after you commit to them. Freshman Masterclass is your virtual campus explore. You know, when I remember when I was university shopping, and I would go to these different universities in California, Washington, University of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, you know, over on Florida as well. And we just have a campus, you know, like exploration. That's where the educational counselors say, hey, look, here's our shop. Here's the dean. Here's the graduating class. Here's the courses we have. Here's the life of our campus. Here's the communities you could be a part of. Here's the cafeteria where you guys can hang out. Here's the sports that you could be a part of or come and watch for the entertainment. And here's also the great business connections we have at our university. You get a feel for what it's like to be on campus. That's what Freshman Masterclass is you get to explore, you get to ask questions, you get to learn about the academy before you start, and the basics of sovereignty and capitalism before you go into your sophomore year. And that's what people need, man. You need to just get this high-level description just so then you know where you're going to be graduating. You need to know. So in honor of Patrick Devine, I'm giving reviews of this and doing a comparison of what Patrick taught in 2017 and how I modernized it. And, you know, I'm not the only one that took part in putting this together. I had a lot of advisors that assisted me with it. And let me tell you, I'm very proud of the work that the team has put into organizing this. We have a staff of just about over 20 individuals and growing rapidly. We are not just focused on sovereignty, but also capitalism. We want you to have access to your credits and to use them. And our success rate is very high. It's very high. I don't want to say guaranteed, but it's close and up there. So if you want to join our academy, we welcome you. And the community that is going to surround you is really what makes the Academy so great. I love seeing all the familiar faces that come to this live every Tuesday and Thursday. And I love seeing my daily pupils, students that come to my course, as well as Ryan's as well. And yeah, we welcome everyone to come experience with us. With that being said, we'll now go to questions about today's lesson. Questions. Oh, good. Okay. That means everything I said was easy to understand. And there's no questions whatsoever. Oh, there we go. Integrity design.
Very easy. Very easy. Yeah, yeah.
Was it? Oh, good deal. Integrity design. Let's start with you.
Good. Is my audio okay? Firstly,
Yes, loud
okay,
and
great.
clear.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for the clarity on that. That clears up a lot. That was kind of great before, and I like the structure and how you present things. Because I'm in several other groups, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that's pinged back and forth, but there's not that foundational structure, and it's not taught in such a way that starts at the basics. You're kind of jumping in somewhere, and then people are saying this, that, and the other thing. Half of them might be wrong. You know, they don't present it in such a way that you guys do here. So I really appreciate that. And so as an infant in this journey, I'm at the beginning stages, and there's one question I'd like to ask about before you get to this part to set up the trust. You need the proper birth certificate. And forgive me if I've jumped into this video. You may have already covered it at the beginning, but the difference between a authentication from the birth certificate from vital records or the county recorder, they offer certification. Now, I know the difference between apostille and authentication, but is there any difference by getting the proper birth certificate to set up this trust from one to the other? Does it matter where you order it from?
Yeah, I'll give you two use cases. If you were born here in America, you just need a copy of your regular birth certificate. It doesn't have to be apostilled or authenticated. If you are naturalized here in America, they usually give you just one copy of your naturalization certificate. So what they do is with that one copy, they're just like, well, shoot, I don't want to like burn this up and ship it out and then, not have a copy now anymore. So a lot of times I see people take their naturalization birth certificate, go to the county recorder, put it on record, and then ask for certified copies of what they put on the record. And they'll ask for 5 or 10 of them. And this is a great way for you to get a certified copy at a very cost-effective way to go about it.
Okay, because the only thing I noticed was ordering it directly from the hospital, their county records, and their clerk there. The price was significantly lower than vital records, and I was wondering, is that apples to apples there? Because the price was like 3-4 times more. So I was wondering why.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you choose either one, just as long as it's a legitimate copy.
Thank you, sir.
No worries. Jewel Jones, let's go to you.
Hi, Paul. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, super good.
So when you were talking about the Massachusetts Trust and all the different names essentially being the same thing, my takeaway from that was that if we establish a business trust, that we should be getting a foreign EIN for every business trust. Is that correct?
No, I rarely do that. I always just get a regular EIN number. There's no point for me to do a foreign EIN. I really just do that for my master account. And after my master account is set up, I just get a regular EIN online. Usually for me, it's a C corporation because I can build lines of credit really quickly with it. And yeah, I just operate there. And I oftentimes choose Washington State. I know that you could choose Nevada, North Dakota, or what's the third? Wyoming, that has more favorable laws for trusts. I'm pretty confident with the protections that I have already with my declaration of trust document that I don't go that far that often. Delaware is another one. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, so I keep it simple. Okay,
so it's like foreign technically, jurisdictionally, but you don't need a specifically foreign EIN for Philadelphia.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because the purpose of a foreign EIN is for foreigners to operate their businesses within the United States. And if they make a profit, they, pay the tax man for it. But if you're already located here in the United States, no need for a foreign EIN. You just use a regular EIN and, pay your taxes as per usual with the for your corporate entity.
Got it. Okay, thanks. I heard that. I thought, oh crap.
Yeah, no. You're totally fine. You're totally fine. I get that question quite often, but you're right there. You're right there. The other thing I would like to add, really, that's really powerful to this is this is what we're teaching at Creditor Academy is your foundation. Is there more that you can learn? Absolutely. I encourage learning and growing. When I graduated nursing school, it gave me my foundation of my learning. So then I could go on and get further certifications in wound care, geriatric, home health care, and so on. And even just learning a lot of software, even like the Epic system. But it's never ending. But if you just have your firm foundation, just like I got in nursing school, you're pretty much good just off of your foundation. You're going to not have you might have money problems, but you won't have credit problems. And everybody that comes to Creditor Academy doesn't have money problems. They have credit problems. And that's what we're here to assist with, is to get you on the right track for your success and to demystify this whole truth movement into 3 simple steps. Become private, learn to operate privately, and build unlimited private credit. That is your foundation. We keep it simple and straightforward. And because it's simple, it's very effective. Thank you all for joining us who are watching us on YouTube. If you'd like to get involved with Creditor Academy, you can go to creditoracademy.com and fill out our contact us form, or call us on our hotline number Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. or Monday through Saturday, actually, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also fill out the contact us form. But if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, now is the time to do it and join our private Facebook group and other social media so you catch all the things that are the latest here at Creditor Academy, as well as be a part of our community. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. It's the after hours. It's the after hours.